The temperature on the forehead can be measured with the temporal artery thermometer. This is a convenient site for patients of all ages. The temporal artery runs across the forehead and down the side of the neck. This major vessel is very close to the surface, providing an ideal site for temperature measurement. Temperature readings vary according to where you take them on the body. The temporal artery reading is about the same as the rectal site. The forehead needs to be fully exposed to the environment to obtain an accurate reading with a temporal artery thermometer. Before taking the patient's temperature, check for any factors that might influence the temperature reading and correct them. If they cannot be corrected, choose another method to take the patient's temperature. Sanitize your hands before proceeding. Assemble your equipment. You will need a temporal artery thermometer, an antiseptic wipe, and probe covers, if your model uses them. Greet the child's mother and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm going to be your medical assistant today. Could you please tell me your full name and your daughter's full name?
Identify the child's mother and her daughter and explain the procedure.
Hi, Kitty. How are you doing today? I need to take her temperature today.
Check the lens to be sure it is clean and intact. A dirty, damaged lens can lead to a falsely low temperature reading. Place a disposable probe cover over the probe to prevent the transfer of microorganisms from one patient to another. If the model doesn't use a probe cover, clean the probe with an antiseptic wipe and allow it to dry. Choose either side of the forehead. Brush away any hair that is covering the site. Hair traps body heat, resulting in a falsely high temperature reading. Hold the thermometer with your dominant hand, your right hand if you're right-handed, and your left hand if you're left-handed. Place your thumb on the scan button. Gently position the probe on the center of the patient's forehead, midway between the eyebrow and the hairline. Depress the scan button and keep it depressed the entire time you are scanning. Slowly and gently slide the probe in a straight line across the forehead, halfway between the eyebrow and upper hairline. Don't lift the probe away from the forehead and keep the probe flat against the skin. Keep moving until you reach the hairline. If you don't keep the scan button depressed, or if you scan too quickly, the temperature reading may be falsely low. You'll hear a beeping sound and see a blinking red light during the scan. These tell you that the reading is taking place. Rapid beeping and blinking indicate that the temperature is rising. A slow beep means that the thermometer is still scanning but not finding a higher temperature. Once you reach the hairline, lift the probe and gently place it behind the earlobe in the soft depression of the neck, just below the mastoid process. Make sure you are still keeping the scan button depressed. Hold the probe in place for 1 to 2 seconds. If the patient is sweating, you will still obtain an accurate temperature reading by measuring the temperature behind the earlobe. Release the scan button and read the temperature on the digital display of the thermometer. Katie's temporal artery temperature is 98.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Make a mental note of the temperature reading. The display will remain on for 15 to 30 seconds. If the temperature needs to be taken again, wait 60 seconds or scan the opposite side of the forehead. Scanning cools the site, and rescanning too quickly leads to a falsely low reading. Dispose of the probe cover by pushing it off the probe with your thumb and ejecting it into a regular waste container. Wipe the probe with an antiseptic wipe and allow it to dry. Sanitize your hands and chart your results. Include the date, time, and temperature reading. Note that the temperature was taken at the temporal artery by writing the symbol TA next to the reading. This tells the physician that this is a temporal artery temperature.